Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Raven Brotherhood. I am Phillip Martin.
I'm Brian Linkus.
And we are here today to talk to you about my book, A Witch is Born. And we've talked about this book several times. This is the very beginning of the story. The story is especially long, probably too long for some people. It's going to be 10 books. And right now we've got book number 6 being released in a couple months. I am currently writing book 7. So if you like long epic stories, right, this is the series you want to get into. Now, you got to be a little bit of a pervert, I think, to read it and understand it and appreciate it. There is some high amount of sex and violence and that kind of stuff in it. I've warned you before, and I try to keep doing that because I don't want people getting offended, you know. But what I want to point out today is there are 2 copies, 2 different versions of this book. They say the exact same thing. Same story. Everything inside's the same. I think this one has a map. This one doesn't. And that's it. The covers are different. This is the original cover, Brian.
Yep, I remember.
Yeah, and what I thought about doing today is reading the prologue.
Okay.
This is a scene from the prologue. This is how the story begins.
You're right.
This is, so I thought it was important to show this. Now, my buddy Sean Carroll, who owns Hot Rod Tattoo here locally, look him up, you'll see him. He did this cover for me. And it's amazing. It's a beautiful cover.
Did a beautiful job.
Yeah. So he did exactly what I wanted, you know. Showed the 2 little girls and a snarling wolf.
And a purple sky.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
He added that, and that was perfect, yeah. So this is a scene from the prologue, and I think he captured it perfectly. And then I, like a year later, got a book designer to help me because I was involved in something called hybrid publishing when this was issued. And I'm not going to get into that right now, but we need to have a serious conversation about hybrid publishing because it's not a good thing. So anyway, I got a book designer who made this cover for me. And that's before Daniela started doing all my covers. This is the only one Daniela hasn't done. So she got this for me and said, this cover, although beautiful, great art, it doesn't capture what your book's doing. A lot of people think this is maybe a child's book, which didn't go over too well, as you can imagine. So I had to do away with this book. I do have like maybe 10 copies back here, and that's it. It's out of print. So you can't find this book, Brian. You got a copy, right?
I do have a copy. Yep.
So this is the rare one.
A signed copy.
Yeah. That's worth even less. So what I'm going to do is read. Like I said, the 2 stories are the same. It's the same story. But instead of reading, Brian, I thought that would be kind of boring because I'm sure I'd mess it up. So I'm going to try to tell it. I'm going to try to tell the prologue.
Okay.
All right, so I'm going to move these to the side, if you don't mind putting those over there. And then Brian, since he's so tech savvy, he's going to do the special effects for this story. So let's try to do this, Brian. I'll try not to screw up.
I'll try not to screw up.
And let's see if we can get through this thing together. Ready?
No better time than the present.
All right, let's do it. Okay, so this is A Witch is Born, the prologue, the very beginning to the story. And it begins this way. It was a dark, stormy night. And God damn it, Brian.
Keep it together.
It's a dark, stormy night in the little town of Olderburg. And there is a orphanage. There's an orphanage called the Olderburg Orphanage. And they are weathering the storm. In this storm, there's a lot of wind, thunder, lightning, but no rain yet. I said no rain yet. And so, in this story, you know there's going to be a big storm. And when that rain starts, it's going to be bad. So the story focuses on one of the orphanage's workers named Eunice Rowe. And she's worked there for about 30 years. And she's one of the older ladies, the surrogate mothers to the orphans. And she's battening down the hatches, getting ready for this storm. It's nighttime, so all the orphans are tucked in. The other workers are in their rooms. And she wants to be in her room as soon as possible. This storm's making things even darker. It's going to be bad. And so, as she gets ready to go upstairs and tuck herself in, there is suddenly a thump on the door. And it's not a knock. It is an actual thump where something hit the door. And so it startles her. She looks outside. Now, of course, there's no rain yet, but there's an occasional lightning flash. So she's looking out there for a sign of somebody, anybody, who may have thumped on the door. She sees no one, but she senses something. And so the hairs on her neck stand on end. And she knows something unusual is going on here. She listens again. And there's another thump. This one startles her so bad she almost falls down. She decides to take out the knife that she conveniently has hidden in her boot for just such an occasion. She listens at the door one last time, her heart thumping, the storm brewing. There's no more noise other than the cry of a baby. And of course, that's not unusual because it's an orphanage. People leave children there all the time, right? So, she listens for a few moments, readies her knife. She has her lone candle, and she opens up the door. The candle immediately is blown out by the strong wind, and there is a basket on the front porch. The baby crying is coming from within. She looks around, petrified at first, afraid to move, and eventually summons the nerve to pick up the basket. She sees nobody, but she senses something out there. She comes back inside, puts away the knife, locks the door, relights her candle, and discovers, she's pleasantly surprised to discover, there's not one baby, but two little girls, and from the looks of them, they're newborns. So, she feeds them. She dresses them. And the feeling never goes away that there's something out there, something supernatural out there, lurking in the front of the orphanage. She ignores it the best she can. She gets the babies quieted, fed, happy, and she goes upstairs and tucks herself in, locking the door. Her sleep is kind of restless that night, especially two newborns with her. But she makes it through. But she never forgets that feeling she had. The next day, the storm is gone. Things are quiet. The sun is out. And she must go to the administrator of the orphanage. Luckily, the wind stops too at some point. Because that would be annoying if there's still wind on a Sunday day like this. So, she goes to see Lord Ranus de Breath. This man is the one who runs the orphanage. He's the administrator, he's the architect, he's everything. A lot of people find Ranus de Breath a little despicable. He's kind of self-serving, not a good person, I would say. But she has to go talk to him, of course, and she's used to dealing with him. Now, what makes it difficult is Ranus is kind of, like I said, not a good person. He's even been known to be a little eccentric, like maybe even wearing a mask from time to time when he's alone, which doesn't make any sense. But she goes to see him, and she tells him of the discovery of the children. And without any records or any kind of person there to tell him who these children are, they are deemed twins. Eunice is allowed to name them. He gives them her surname of Rowe, and she happily names them Cassandra and Kessie. They are deemed to be twins, and that's the end of it. So Eunice has many orphans at her charge. Cassandra and Kessie are their newest two, but she has a dozen others. And what the orphanage tries to do is match up the orphans with particular women that work there, and they become surrogate mothers. So Kessie and Cassandra are not the only two she's in charge of, but they quickly become her favorites. And they thrive at the orphanage. And soon, before they know it, 5 years has passed, and they become little girls. The same ones that are on the cover of that book. So she has taught them everything from etiquette, how you would eat a meal in front of a king and a queen, if that ever comes to pass. Reading, writing, math, all that good stuff. And these kids have thrived. They're both very smart. Now, one thing that should be noted is they are not identical twins. They look very different. Cassandra has blue eyes, blonde hair. Cute little kid. Kessie, her hair's a little darker, almost brown, light brown. Brown eyes. She's a sweet kid too. Very pretty girls. They're not identical. So Eunice always wonders about that. Were they really twins? Are they related at all? But the most important thing is she loves them and they love each other. But what they do, at 5 years old, she decides to take them on a field trip to expand their horizons a little. They've never been out of town before, so they go into a local or a neighboring forest about 100 yards away from the town. Right there, it's real close. And the kids thrive. They love it. They see signs of wildlife. They see like a bird's nest they find that's been abandoned, and they're amazed at the different material that goes into making the nests. They see signs of squirrels, rabbits, that kind of stuff, and they have a blast. And as time passes, it begins to become dusk once again. So Eunice realizes that they should be getting back. It could be unsafe, who knows. She sees the town guards lighting the lanterns, preparing for nighttime. So she tells the girls, it's time to get back. And she's met with a chorus of, oh, can't we stay longer? And so she has to tell them, no, it's time to get home. It's getting dark. And so they start gathering their things. And that's when she feels that familiar sensation again of something unnatural around her. The hairs on her neck and her arms stand on end again. And she knows something's wrong with the situation. And she panics. And so Cassandra can sense it as well. And Kessie. Kessie gets behind her sister, kind of scared. Cassandra stands there. And she says something that doesn't make any sense to Eunice. She says, Mama, we're not going to make it. And Eunice doesn't understand what she's saying or why she said that. But she's very calm, and it's like Cassandra understands something's going on here. Then there's a howl. And it kind of sickly, maybe a dying animal. Eunice turns around and knows something's in the woods. She gets her knife again, the one she kept in her boot. She's kept there all along, just to be safe, especially here. She brandishes that knife and tells the girls, let's go home. And at that point, Kessie starts crying. Cassandra stands her ground. She has her hands on her hips. She is not moving. And that's when Eunice hears a growl right behind her. And so she turns around, and there's this giant wolf right there behind her. She puts herself between the girls and the wolf, and she's frightened. This wolf is huge. It's face to face with her. It's that big. Snarling, saliva dripping from its maw. And it has an intelligence. She can see it in its face. This isn't a normal wolf. There's something wrong. There's something different. And so she brandishes the knife and tells her girls to go home. Kessie's crying, hiding behind her sister. Cassandra's standing there, hands on her hips. Takes out a little hand. It says, bad wolf. And Eunice doesn't understand what's going on. But the wolf notices the girls at that point and jumps past her. She tries to stop it. She tries to hit it with her knife. She's not a knife wielder. And she gets spun around. And now she's facing the girls and this giant wolf getting ready to pounce on them. It's only a few feet away from them. And she's never felt more helpless. She gets ready to scream. She gets ready to charge. She's got to do something to save these girls. And suddenly she's knocked over by a giant projectile. Something heavy lands on her. And she realizes in horror that it's another wolf. Now, to show that these things are intelligent, it has her hand with the knife pinned to the ground with its paw, a massive paw. It's got its mouth around her neck, and it turns her head to look at the girls. It can easily kill her at this point, but it does not. It wants her to watch what happens to these children. And she has no choice. She watches. She can't speak. She can barely breathe, but she has to watch the fate of these kids. And so the first wolf, is stalking, getting closer to the girls. Cassandra doesn't budge. Kessie is hysterical at this point, crying, sobbing. Cassandra waves her little finger again. Bad wolf. It can almost touch it. It's so close. It prepares to pounce. But before it does, it is hit in the side by a lone raven. And it's distracted for a moment. Where this raven came from, or why it's there, or why it hit the wolf, doesn't make any sense. But Cassandra stands there defiantly watching. The wolf is startled. The raven goes up and comes back down for another hit. But the wolf's ready this time. It catches it in its mouth and chomps on it. Suddenly, there's a second one somehow. But it chomps on this bird, chews it, grinds it to pieces, kills it, and looks at the girls again. Again, Cassandra says, bad wolf. And a second raven comes and hits it in the side. And then a third. Pretty soon, there's many ravens flying around this thing, almost like a wall of birds protecting these girls. Eunice can't believe it. They are protecting these girls. They are saving these girls from a vicious, terrible death. Pretty soon there's so many ravens. It's like a wall between the wolf and the girls. She can no longer see her children. And that's when the second wolf, the one holding her hostage, clamps down on her throat and kills her and drags her away. As she tastes her coppery blood, the last thing she sees are those birds protecting those girls. She doesn't understand it, but she understands enough to know that they're going to live through this. And what happens to that first wolf? Yeah, these are ravens. They're not very big compared to a big snarling wolf. But when you have 100 or 200, maybe 300 of them, all pecking and hitting it at the same time, boring holes in its fur, pecking its eyes out, eventually the wolf loses. Now, many, many ravens died in the process, but so did the wolf. And when it's all done, the ravens take off, fly back to their trees, and the girls are standing there over top of the wolf carcass. Kessie's sniffling, trying to compose herself. She peeks around from her sister's back to see the carnage. Many, many dozens of birds lay around dead, and the wolf is there. And Cassandra says, "It's okay, Mommy. We can go home now." And that's when the two girls realize their mother's nowhere. And that's when Cassandra finally cries. Soon after, the two or three guards who heard the commotion come and find the girls huddled together, crying. There's no sign of Eunice. The sheriff gets involved eventually, and he writes it off as this terrible act of nature where wolves attacked the woman and her children. Ravens somehow intervened and saved them, but it is just a natural event. It's something strange happened. So Eunice is never found. The girls return to the orphanage. The sheriff writes it off, except Ronus de Breath will not let it go. He believes something strange happened. He believes witchcraft is involved. And he also knows the laws of the town. And Olderburg allows no magic. So he's really curious about this. And at that point, he keeps his eyes on the girls. Not necessarily Kessie. More importantly, Cassandra. He's always thought there was something off with that kid. And now more than ever, he's going to keep an eye on her. And that is how we begin the adventures of Cassandra Rowe. So, I'm hoping you can find in yourself to read it, maybe. You can find my books on Amazon. You can...
These guys are dead. You said they were dead.
Thanks, Brian. So, thanks to Brian for doing a great job with the special effects today. I appreciate that, bud.
Anytime, bro. Got you back.
And you'll go here and say goodbye. We'll sign off now. Hope you enjoyed that reading. We'll be back again to talk about some other stuff, right?
That's right.
And again, our usual sign off is...
May the Ravens
forever heed your call.
And if you do like this show, please give us a like and subscribe. Take care.
Bye.